Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm David.
I'm Dylan.
We're the Wet Rats. Welcome to day 11. We're almost done.
Final countdown.
This is day 11, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Welcome to day 11 of our 13 Days of Halloween horror movie extravaganza, where we watch all these horror movies and talk about them. You guys know the drill by now, I assume.
Mm-hmm.
So today, we're doing a double feature, the only double feature on our list. We watched VHS 1 and VHS 2. This one was a little different. We've been very busy trying to get this last week of our stuff going. And so we actually ended up watching VHS 1 together, but VHS 2 separately.
Yes.
I had already seen both these movies. Dylan had not seen either. So Dylan, you watched VHS 2 all by yourself for the first time, I rewatched it last night by myself. Unfortunately, we weren't able to do that second one together, but let's talk about them. So this, by the way, I'll just say, this one might be a little bit longer because we're talking about two movies, and also each movie is, of course, if you're not familiar with VHS, they're anthology films, so there are a lot of short films, so we'll try not to spend too crazy long talking about them, but each little short film is worth talking about on its own, so more than just one entire story. We've technically got 11 stories here, because there's 9 short films and then the 2 kind of overarching stories of each one, so there's kind of 11 stories to talk about, so we'll try to jet through all that. But let's start with VHS 1. We'll save VHS 2 for later. We might bring it up a little bit just in comparison. But, Dylan, what did you think of VHS 1?
VHS 1 was really fucking cool. It just seemed like a really cool, small, kind of independent thing that did something really, really cool and unique. And I felt like pulled it off really well. Like, the overarching thing was kind of interesting. Like, just a couple of punk-ass kids who, like, happened to stumble upon all these VHSs. I kind of got lost in the ending on what happened with that story, so that guy just woke up and killed them?
Yeah. Pretty much. So, like, that guy, and apparently it seems like there was somebody else in the house as well.
Okay, that's what I thought.
There's a part where they see somebody in the basement, and it's definitely not the old guy. And they're like, who was that?
Yeah.
And then at the end, it seems like there's maybe something else in the house.
Because I couldn't tell if, like, some of the things that were seen was, like... Because, like, that person walked by, it looks like they're kind of walking naked.
Yeah.
And, like, not to, like, cut too far ahead, but it kind of looked like the same shot when that one kid's walking, like, with his shirt off in the woods. So I didn't know if it's supposed to be, like...
Oh, no, it's not like that.
It's like a cut thing. So
I don't believe so, anyways.
That's why I got confused. I was like, I can't tell
gotcha. Yeah, and actually, the first VHS movie, both VHS movies kind of are low reviewed. The first one, I think, is like right at about like a 50% on most websites.
I looked at the second one. The second one got shit on like really bad.
It did, yeah. And it's really interesting to me because I don't think these are the best movies ever made. Right. I don't think these are the best horror movies ever made. But I really love these movies. Yeah. And I guess people's big problem, kind of with both, but especially with the first one, was it doesn't wrap things up in a nice little bow. Sure. Which I don't know why you wanted that in a horror movie anyways. But the premise of these is not... Because I think what the problem was, I think people watched, and maybe it was marketed wrong, I don't know, I've never seen the trailers, I don't know how they were marketed. But I think when people watched the first one, they kept seeing these short films, waiting for them to connect. Right. Waiting for this character to connect to this character. And like, why do all these tapes, why are they being watched, why are they here? Maybe that was marketed as the point, but that is not the point.
Yeah, because I didn't feel like I didn't even think that was going to be a thing.
Yeah, I mean, basically, as any anthology film, these are completely individual things that are tied together. But I think just because in VHS, they have a story overarching the whole thing, instead of just, like, cutting from one to the next, there's actually the story where people are watching
people kept expecting some M. Night Shyamalan thing. Was like,
I think people were like, oh, that's what it all means.
Here's what pisses me off, especially about horror stuff in general, is it's like, quit expecting a goddamn twist. Everything doesn't need a frigging twist now. Yeah. Just enjoy a damn movie. I feel like everybody's always just like, oh, the twist sucked or this and that. Just like, who cares? Just like, especially the same thing with directors too. Like, don't try and make a twist. There doesn't need to be a twist. Yeah. Like, I think just like people just, M. Night Shyamalan like is like one of those people that ruined that thing for it. Yeah. It's again like, don't blame The Sixth Sense for starting. Right.
Well, I mean, even before that, there were horror movies that I won't say any of which ones they did. Obviously, The Sixth Sense everybody knows the twist. But I mean, there's even a horror movie we're watching soon that has like a big famous twist. And, like, that's just, it kind of became a thing with horror movies where, like, you had to get that final thing to the audience, that final little thing of, like, oh, you thought it was over, but it's not. Right. Sometimes movies do that, and it's amazing. It's like, whoa, that's crazy that you threw that in there. But sometimes you don't need it. Sometimes it doesn't need to come together. What I like about VHS is it is a chance for several independent directors, the first one especially, the second one is not quite as independent, but the first one is a few independent directors came together, each directed their own respective horror shorts, about different subjects that interested them, and I think that's really cool. I think we need
really
more
cool.
stuff like that. Like, it's a showcase of, up and coming directors kind of doing their unique things.
I mean, they're unknown actors hell bent on staying unknown.
Is that what it says?
One of my favorite reviews on VHS 2 was a zero thing. Anytime someone gets a zero, I'm going to read that review.
Yeah.
Because I'm just so curious. Literally, that review was talking about how this was an unbearable movie, like unwatchable, and how they gladly shut it off after a guy scooped the eyeball thing out. It's like, cool, you didn't make it past the first one. You didn't watch any of the other things. You're reviewing a movie and giving a zero based on the first thing you watched. That'd be like,
that's awesome, man. Wizard of Oz was so boring. Why was it all black and white?
Yeah.
I thought this was supposed to be colorful. I turned it off, after the beginning, but
yeah, it's just so dumb. I was like, how can you and it will look like, I mean, if you're on a Metacritic, you're at least, I guess, it's considered enough that you should be part of the Metacritic score review. So it's like, you didn't even watch the whole movie. How are you possibly a reviewer for anything?
Someone had a hair in my mouth there.
But then, one of the comments was it was a bunch of unknowns hell-bent on staying unknown. He didn't watch any other films but the first one, so he has no idea how the other one.
And the first one has 2 people in it, so cool. Nice job on that review. Anyways, let's go back to the first movie. So, I do think, it's an interesting frame of these people trying to find this VHS tape. Actually, I'm not super into the story of them in the house, whatever, because I didn't really care.
Whatever.
Those characters are all assholes.
It was just a good.
Yeah, basically those stories exist to get you into the tapes. So let's talk about the tapes. The first one, and I already don't remember. There's individual names for each tape. I don't know. I believe the first one's called Amateur Night.
Because I couldn't find a list of. I guess I didn't look super hard because I wanted to do it while I was watching it, but I didn't want to spoil anything.
Right. I can't remember what all of it, but I'm pretty sure the first one's called Amateur Night, which, in case, you better have seen all these, but just to refresh you, that's the one where some friends go out to a bar really to pick up some chicks to try to record them having sex with them, but they pick up somebody they shouldn't have. And I'm curious to talk about this one because I mentioned when we watched Ju-On, that's the scariest movie I've ever seen, to me personally. However, this short, overall VHS isn't the scariest movie. That short is the scariest thing to me, as an individual thing. Not as a full movie, but just that short terrified me the first time I watched it. Even rewatching it, I didn't want to do it. I was holding my sides like this the whole time. I don't know how that didn't freak you out more.
Yeah, it didn't freak me out. I mean, I was okay. I like that one a lot. That's definitely up there out of all of them as one of my favorite ones. But I don't know. I mean,
that one terrified me.
I guess because she really didn't even. I mean, come on, man! You don't get your dick sucked. Come on.
I would not in that situation.
In my situation, she's gonna murder me.
I think it's because, and we've talked about this before, and I don't want to spoil other movies that do this, but just to name drop a couple. We've talked before, you and me personally, not on this thing. I don't think on this, about how there's something really creepy about when you mix horror and sex.
Sure. And
It Follows it has nudity mixed with horror, and even Eyes Wide Shut. Not a horror movie, but has that same thing going on of this is normally naked people would be sexy, but you cast it in this certain light, and it's oh no, I don't know. And to me, that's what the short is, and that's something that makes me uncomfortable. Just the idea of mixing in what should be a unique, intimate encounter and really perverting it and twisting it into this awful thing.
I almost kind of felt bad. Because it seemed like that creature really liked that dude. And, she's this once in a fine love. And the dude's just too stuck up with his, standards. It's no way, man. You're not my type of woman. I was dude, shut up. I need your dick sucked.
Yeah, that one, I think that's one of the best on the VHS movies. Okay, it's a great way to start.
Before, when they're in the stairwell, she's getting ready to go down him.
Yeah. Does
she say, I like you, or does she say, I will eat you?
She says, I like you.
Okay, because
that's the one thing she says over.
Yeah, because I thought she was gonna say you, but for some reason my mind said I'm going to eat you.
Oh, okay.
And then she went down. and was oh, okay. I thought she was about to eat him for real.
Oh yeah.
Okay, well yeah. See, she just wanted love.
Oh man, she ripped another guy's dick off, man. That's
that guy. To be fair, she gave that guy several warnings. I mean, she hissed at him. I was no, get out of here. I mean,
but when a cat hisses at me, I don't think it's gonna rip off my dick if I pet it.
I'm not gonna try and fuck it though.
Fair play. All right, but yeah, I think that was really cool. I think that's a good way to start it off, and it also kind of starts to show one thing I like about VHS is, a lot of people are kind of over found footage movies.
Yeah.
But I think each one, for the most part, there's a couple, where it's a little iffy, but most of them do it in a unique way. The first one is hidden glasses.
Yeah. Which I thought was a cool way.
Yeah, and that's I think what the last one does too. I believe when when they go to the Halloween party, isn't it glasses as well?
Oh no, it's not glasses. That one's actually
his costume.
That's a good bit too because they even explain it I'm a mammy cam.
That's right. That's right. But yeah, I like how they do that in most of the shorts. There's a couple where it's I don't know if there'd be a camera here, but for the most part, in the second one, just to jump ahead for a second real quick, there's the one where he's a bicyclist and he's just filming himself with a GoPro. That's brilliant. A lot of people do that. They're taking real life things and incorporating them. That's really cool. But I want to talk about that short later. But again, I don't want to spend too much time on each short because there's a lot. But anything else to say about that first short?
Nope, that was good.
All right, we move on to the second one. One of the weaker ones, I think, on VHS one. This is about a couple on their honeymoon.
Right. Yeah. Again, I still kind of like this one.
I like it too, and I will say I like it mostly for one shot. And that's I think, a really well done shot for found footage. And it's when they're in the hotel the first night, and the camera picks back up and it's filming the guy sleeping. Right. And you're like, oh, why is the girl filming him sleeping? And the camera pans over and the girl's asleep too. And it's totally oh shit, because that had me. It wasn't scary in the same way, but I was really the first time I watched it, I was on the edge of my seat, what's gonna happen? Who has the camera? Yeah. What are they gonna do? Are they gonna kill them? Are they gonna wake up? I think that's a great twist.
Yeah, because it sets you up the thing going if they ever watch this again, they're gonna see this.
Yeah. Sorry, we got cut off. I think that's really brilliant and clever the way they did that. But the rest of that short has a couple cool moments. But
yeah, I think it just goes on a little too.
Yeah, it goes on a little too long because we do that whole trick again the second night with the camera. It's maybe you should have killed him the first night to really. Because I was already on the edge of my seat. The second time you do it, it's okay, I get it. We did this before.
Yeah, and I feel even after they showed me, I still suspected the girl. I didn't think she was part with the killer thing, but I feel like she was. I mean, there's going to be obviously something where some mistrust happened there,
right?
Because they almost kind of I don't know. They almost are too on the nose about it on some.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, not a ton to say about the second one. It's still fun. I think all of them are fun to watch.
Yes, all of them.
Some of them are actually really good. Mm-hmm. Some of them are just fun. And not that great, but just fun to watch. There was not really any of them that I was all right, skip. I don't want to watch this one. All of them were fun to watch, even on a second viewing. The third one is... What's the third one? I'm getting them mixed up now.
Yeah, I was hoping you remember, because I feel like there's ones I'm going to forget.
Because there's 5 in the first VHS.
Because the first one's the two... ones where I feel like I remember the third one being one I really, really liked.
Shit, man, I'm blanking. I remember what the 4th and 5th one are. Oh, the third one... Okay, I can't remember which order they're in. One of them is the Skype call. Is that the 4th one?
That is the third one.
That's the third one. Okay, yes. Gotcha. So it's about...
Because I remember opening up and being great, a girl again is going to fuck somebody over.
Yeah, there's kind of the theme of the first two. But yeah, so it is a Skype conversation where a girl thinks something's going on in her apartment and she's Skyping a guy. Mm-hmm. Now, I will say, I love this one except for the last minute.
Yeah.
And it's what?
Yeah, I have no... And it's one of those things where I guess you don't have to pay off everything. Yeah. But I'm still confused about what any of that was.
Yeah, so from what I've read and from what I kind of understood, I believe those aren't ghosts, they're aliens. Okay. And they've impregnated this girl over and over as kind of a to human alien hybrid stuff. Okay. And this guy is for whatever reason working for them and maintaining these girls and trying to make sure that that they're still carrying the babies or whatever. And she has the chip in her arm, that's how the aliens are tracking her. Not sure why they're trying to scare her instead of just monitor her from her distance.
Right.
But
not very good aliens.
Yeah, but that one you were talking about not all horror stuff needs to have a twist. Some directors need to cool it. Yeah. That's a good example of you didn't need that.
No.
Ghosts were fine.
The ghost stuff was scary. Her boyfriend's far, far away, and it's just Skype call stuff. That's cool.
Yeah, the ghost stuff was scary and well done in that one. And I felt to throw that twist on it almost takes the scares away because it's I don't care about shooting alien kids. Yeah, that's not scary. I do think the scene where he cuts her open or reaches into her is one of those because again we talked about we don't normally like gore, but I think sometimes it's done right, and I actually think the VHS movies do it right to where it's not just shoved in your face oh look at all the gore. Mm-hmm. When it's done in such a way that it is actually horrifying, and you kind of don't want to watch it, but in the same way you kind of can't take your eyes off the screen. And I think when he reaches into and reaches past her spine, it's oh fuck, but it's not a Saw one where it's just look at this cool death. It's it's kind of intriguing in a way. I will say this one has a weird thing where for some reason girls just keep pulling out their boobs.
Yeah,
and it's really out of place. Like, at the beginning, it's like, all right, whatever, sure, she pulled out her boobs. And then at the end, it's like, oh, he's got another girl. Oh, and she also is pulling out her boobs. Why is that a part of this? That has nothing to do with the story.
Not just this one, like, I feel like VH1 in general has a lot of boobs.
Yeah, it does. But especially in this one, it just felt really out of place to me, because it was like, it's almost like the director didn't have a need for it, but was like, I kind of think these girls are hot. I'm going to write in the script that they have to pull their boobs out. And it's like, that's kind of weird. Hang on. Is my audio still going? Okay, yeah, it is. Sorry. My phone had a notification. But, so then, anything else to say about the third one?
Nope.
The fourth one is, I actually personally think is the weakest of the first VHS. It is about a group of kids who go out into the woods. And there's another one where a girl fucks everybody over.
Okay, yeah.
And this girl, surprise, it has brought them as bait to catch this glitchy, kind of bizarre ghost, which I actually think the effects on them were really good and interesting. Like, it
makes it seem like they can see them just
yes.
fine with the camera.
But that makes me, and that's one of the things I like, is like, what are they seeing?
Yeah.
And I kind of like that we don't ever know.
Right.
I thought that was really interesting. I actually think all the effects in the VHS movies are really good. Especially the first one, for such a small budget thing, really holds up.
Yeah, but this one just kind of seemed, I mean...
It's very cliche and kind of cheesy, and it's just like... and in a way, I almost wonder if that's what it was going for.
Sure.
But I feel like... And one thing, we'll talk more about when I get to VHS 2. I feel like VHS 2 is really funny. And I think VHS 1 maybe tried to be, but didn't pull it off.
Well, yeah.
But I want to talk more about some of the dark humor of VHS 2 in a minute. But VHS 1, this is one of the ones where I wonder, like, was this kind of trying to be funny, but it just didn't work?
Right.
But it's still entertaining. And, it's short. If this was... If any of these shorts were drawn out into a 2-hour movie, I'd be so bored.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
But to condense them into 20 minutes, even this cheesy slasher thing, is fun to watch. But I do think it's the weakest on the first VHS. If I was going to cut any of them, it'd probably be that one. Then we go into the final segment, which is about a group of kids, or not kids, like college-age people trying to go to a Halloween party, but they picked the wrong house. I really like this one.
This one.
I think this is a great one to end on.
It's really toss-up between this one or the first one.
Yeah.
My favorite.
I think those are the standout ones of the first VHS. This one's really cool. A lot of good effects work in it. I don't know. I think this one's cool and interesting, and it's got some, like, this is one that does have some twists, but I think work.
Yeah.
Like, they're trying to rescue the girl, but then it turns out the girl was evil. And, like,
yeah.
I think that stuff works better in this one. It actually seems to hit a little bit harder.
Right.
And yeah, just creepy environment. It's set on Halloween, so it's good to watch this time of year.
Yeah.
I think VHS movies in general are great Halloween movies. The same way we talked about, like, Creepshow. You want to have a couple people over, put on a movie. VHS is going to be a lot darker and scarier than Creepshow was. So maybe it's not the best for, like, a party. But I think if you want to watch a scary movie that's just fun, VHS is going to be one of the best picks.
Like, I really, really enjoyed VHS 1.
Yeah.
I was like, it was a movie after I got done, I knew I could probably watch again.
Yeah.
It's one of the things where it is scary, but I feel like it was just not so crippling scary. Yeah. I was like, I can't watch this on my own.
There's a big element of fun to it as well.
Yeah.
And which I really like. And yeah, I think makes it more and more rewatchable. But anything else to say about that last short?
No.
It was good. And then just to talk about the overall story real quick, we kind of mentioned it earlier, but yeah, these people are in this house, they're trying to watch all these tapes, and that story kind of ends kind of suddenly when the people who keep watching the tapes start disappearing. And I really did like how, like, when the first they're watching the tape and the guy's just dead in the chair, and there's after one of the tapes where the guy's just not there anymore.
Oh, yeah.
And then they cut back to a tape and he's back there. And it was just like, oh, fuck. That's, like, little things like that were cool.
It's really great.
But that story kind of ended, and yeah, you're right. It was kind of abrupt. And it was like, oh, I guess that's just it. And then it cuts into the final short. So we actually get the resolution to the overall story before the final short happens, which is fine. And then one of the things that I think really just drives in that these movies are just meant to be kind of fun is I think they have credit sequences.
Yes.
There's like really like upbeat kind of like, I don't even know the genre, but like these weird songs.
That one was really great. That one almost is just... And I don't know if this is true or not because I don't even know the people. But it kind of made it seem like people getting with like people that maybe they're like a lot of people behind. Not like maybe the directors, but people behind kind of pushing these. Or like at least friends there. So it almost seemed that ending thing just kind of makes it like these are the jackass of this horror movie kind of thing.
Yeah.
You know? It just really, because it's just them running around fucking around people and stuff like that. So okay. So I got that feel for it.
Yeah, it's great.
I, however, did...
I
mean, not spoil too much. He kind of did that same bit for the second one, and I don't think it played as well.
Oh, yeah?
Because, I mean, the first... Because that just went so well with those people's themes and the overarching story,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like that music didn't really go with the second one's overarching story.
Okay. Well, before we get into the second, do you have anything else to say about the first one?
Nope, really liked it.
Yeah, really good movie. Definitely recommend it. A lot of people shit on it. A lot of people, I think, are wrong. I think a lot of people maybe their expectations were wrong. I don't know.
Sure.
If you're looking for something that is like a overall brilliant story with lots of payoffs, yeah, I guess you'd be disappointed. But if you just want something really fun and creepy to watch around Halloween or just any time of the year, check out VHS. With that being said, what do you think about VHS 2?
This is where we can probably start disagreeing.
Okay.
I thought VH2 was just okay.
I think VHS 2 is better in every way than the
And
original.
I don't agree at all.
Really?
I think it was something that I had my expectations really high because I was expecting it to be better. But I don't know. I have those 2 sketches from VH1 that I really, really liked. And I felt like for a majority, some of the sketches to me just felt like the other sketches that kind of fell the wayside to me. And I was first really into the overarching story. I was like, ooh, cool, kind of like Private Investigators. That sounds awesome. I'm into that. But yeah, personally, I mean, I don't know. I can't think of anything that really stuck out to me. It just kind of seemed okay. The stories all kind of seemed sort of similar. They all kind of like were zombie-esque in a way. And I didn't pick up the dark humor. Maybe if I picked up the dark humor, something okay. I did pick it up for the like Asian one, whatever.
Yeah.
I did get that one. That one is, to me, I think that one is like by far in a way the best one.
I think that's the best out of the whole franchise.
Yeah, that one's really good.
And that is the one directed by the Raid director.
Which, one of the reasons I wanted to go to the list is because I wanted to find out which one he did.
Yeah.
It wasn't very hard as soon as I saw that one. I was like, oh,
yeah.
obviously it's him.
I think it's funny that this is found footage, supposedly just like somebody just found these tapes and that one's subtitled. It's like, who's subtitled this? Come on.
Yeah, good point.
But whatever. So I actually don't like the overall story as much in this one.
No, to me it's just really...
I love like the private investigator stuff. I think it does start out strong, but I think it's just kind of like, it's this girl, because in the other one it's like all these people keep trying to go in this room and check stuff out, like they keep disappearing. And this one it's this girl watching stuff. She watches the first one, which is about like, all this ghost shit, and the guy walks in and he's like, what are you doing? Watching this tape, it's kind of weird. I don't know. It's like, no, that's more than kind of weird. You just saw some weird, you saw some fucked up shit. It just felt like
really uninspired, kind of in a way.
Yeah.
Like the guy kind of just disappears and like comes back every now and then disappears again.
Yeah, it's kind of the same bit over and over.
It's just like her,
I do think it ends in an interesting way.
The first one was okay. I was kind of on the first one. I was like, this isn't like the best one, but this is like still pretty good. Like I still like the first bit better than like the woods bit or whatever than the first one. Although I guess the concept's kind of cool. Like he has an eye transplant.
Yeah,
that kind of works. I mean, a little bit more hookier than the other ones, but it's fine. It's a horror movie thing, and it works.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what I think about the first bit.
I think and this is I think the first one is the first one that like shows that this movie's funny.
Yeah.
And I think I picked up more on it on the second time because like the premise is kind of wonky already, but what's funny is the guy is the lead, and if I remember right, I think that's also the guy who directed that. Yeah, I believe he directed something on the first one. I think actually he directed the overall thing on the first one, and also I think he's one of the actors in that as well.
It's like Wingdan or Wingdan.
I don't remember his name, but I think with VHS 2 he wanted to be more funny, and that in that first one, it's really funny to like because I think if you watch VHS 2 expecting it to be as serious, maybe it wouldn't be as good. But in the first bit, he like goes and hides in his bathroom from the ghost. And there's a part where they're like banging on the door, and he's like, "No, I'm good. I'll be out later." It's just
and even the opening bit he talks to the dog was like, "What if I want to jerk off?"
Yeah, like it's way funnier, I think, and it's like done in more of like a little bit more of a cheesy horror way. At least that first one is. Some of the other ones are a little bit straighter, but I think that first one's funny, but also has some scary moments. Actually, we did a video on our channel a while ago called The Haunted Video Game. Check that out if you haven't. It's about Silent Hills, the video game. And I had just watched both VHS movies when I did that. And I think if you watch those movies and then watch that video, you can definitely see the inspiration. And actually, even though I don't think this first short is the best at all out of the franchise, for whatever reason, it was one that inspired me a lot. Like there's the part in the Haunted Video Game video where you turn on the hallway and there's just a ghost girl at the end of the hallway, and like that shot was straight out of this.
The last bit for the first one, did that inspire you a lot?
The
girl who ends up being evil.
Oh yeah.
I was gonna say because I noticed the chair one, and everyone's like,
yeah,
specifically
the chair part. Yeah, yeah, definitely. Yeah, those two are probably the big ones that inspired that video, aside from the actual Silent Hills thing. But anyways, so the second short is a found footage. It's all found footage, sorry. But it's about a zombie. It's about a guy who's like on a bike and he's got like a GoPro on, and he gets attacked by zombies. Sounds like you didn't like this one.
Not really. I mean, I felt like it just didn't do anything any other zombie thing didn't necessarily do, other than what if a zombie had a handy cam on his head. So I mean, it was just basically here's a guy. I mean, I guess doing what zombies would do, attacking people and
yeah. I don't know. I'm telling I everything you just said, I think is a positive.
Really?
Yeah, because I think zombie stuff I don't like really. I'm not a big fan of zombie stuff, but I think we've never seen it from the perspective of a zombie. And
I feel like it was something. Well, I feel like there surely has to be something that did that. I don't know.
Maybe but I mean, like that's not something that's driven into the ground like the rest of zombie stuff. It's always like, oh, we're these people and we've got to survive. And it's like these buff dudes, like, what are we gonna do? And I thought like just the idea of like, what about a guy who's there at ground zero and he becomes a zombie? Like, I'm sure we've seen it, like, you know, like there's warm bodies or whatever. We see it, like, but I mean, like POV of a zombie, and like it's like violent, and he's attacking people and like ripping them apart. I thought that was interesting, and I thought we hadn't really seen it. I don't think it's the best thing ever, but I thought it was a clever take on a familiar thing.
Because I think that's another thing where like we might slightly disagree on. Not that it was bad compared to some, but that's where I think VH2 is definitely way gorier than the first one.
Oh yeah, it definitely is. But I also, again, I think that somewhat plays into it being funny. Like VHS 2, like that zombie thing. There's also a part where, and you know, maybe this is you could see this if you weren't appreciating the humor, and you'd be like, oh, that's just horrifying. Yeah. But I saw this and I laughed even the first time I watched it. There's a part where like all these zombies are like, you know, this guy attacked a couple other people and now there's zombies with them. And there's a part when he's like trying to figure out what he wants to eat, and at first he tries to eat his own hand. He's like spits it out. He picks up a wall and he starts chewing on it.
See, yeah,
like,
I think if I pick up the humor quicker or like was expected, I think I would have got it. But to me, instead of like being like, oh, that's funny, I was just like, what?
Right. The part that made me laugh the hardest is like they all start wandering together and they hear some noise. And they walk into like a kid's birthday party. Yeah, that was so funny to me. Like even the first time, like it's like this shitty dad like filming it, like, oh, happy birthday. They turn and there's a bunch of zombies like mauling their family. That I think is like that dark humor of like, this is fucked up. It's like, oh my god, a kid's birthday party gets attacked horribly, but it's funny. Like it like if you really can like appreciate the humor of it, I think it's a black humor movie for sure. It doesn't present itself as funny in the way that like Creepshow did. Right. It's definitely, you know. And maybe
that's one of those things too, because I did watch it back to back right after VHS. Right. So I had like a lot of expectation of being like VHS. Yeah. Which is definitely a different style than VHS.
Yeah, it definitely is. But that's one of the reasons I almost think VHS 2 is more fun. Because it is funny, and you can watch it with friends, and maybe it's just because we didn't watch it together. Yeah. Because maybe, you know, I think...
If I had like heard you laughing at that,
yeah, exactly. Like, oh, okay, you would have been like, oh, you know, that is a funny stuff. Yeah. Yeah, so that could be part of it. And that's why I think VHS 2 is an even more accessible movie to watch with friends, because it's shorter. I think it's not necessarily less complicated, but I think you're less inclined to look for answers in the second one. The first one, maybe you were trying to put stuff together more and more. With VHS 2, I think you're just like, whatever. Yeah. And I think it's more fun to just sit down with a group of people and watch. You can have fun with it. And it's not quite as... It is gorier, but it's not quite, I think, as scary as the first one had. No. And then, so the third short, which again I think is the best in the series, is directed by Gareth Evans, and somebody else also co-directed it. Gareth Evans is the guy who did the Raid movies. This short I love, and it makes me wish that he would do a whole horror movie. I think it's really well done. I think it's very different from anything else in the rest of the franchise. That's one of the reasons I like VHS. I feel like we get something different every time. Maybe it's like a vampire / succubus girl. Maybe it's fucking zombies. Maybe it's aliens. This one is about like some kind of satanic cult or like bizarre religious cult, and the people doing like an investigative documentary about it, and it's really cool. One of the stars, or not stars, supporting actors from the Raid 2 is in this as one of the leads. He's really good. I think everybody's really good in this one. The effects in this one are, I think, great. There's one effect where it's like some monster that crawls on the ceiling. It's a little whack. It's really but shitty. I think everything else looks good. Like. The part when like the thing like bursts out of the girl looks good, and I think again this is another one of those ones that has like a like it's you could watch this and be like freaked out because it's very dark and gory. Right. But if you really are into appreciating the humor, it's very dark.
That's why I think this one was I don't know if I you just can tell easier it's supposed to be funny. You see the thing floating, you see the thing running around, the thing looks dumb.
Yeah.
It just looks really dumb and gaudy. Yeah. And knowing like the Raid 2 guy, it's just like, okay, there's no way he made this look dumb and gaudy without being on purpose.
I think, and just the ending of it,
the
where it says
hilarious.
like Papa, like it's so funny. And after all the fucked up shit you've just seen, that makes it even funnier because it's so
a giant baby chasing after his dad.
Yeah, it's so funny. I love this short. I think it's really well done. I think there's so many camera angles. It's really inventive with like how they chose to do it. It is very gory, but of course, it's the Raid director. The Raid has a lot of action gore, so of course he's going to do a lot of gore when he does horror. But yeah, I would love to see more horror stuff from him.
Yeah.
Because it's really well done. And then the final short, I believe, is called Slumber Party Abduction or something like that.
This one was just like, no, that's a comedy now, it kind of makes more sense, dude. This is just like an X-Files episode almost.
Yeah, I love this one too because it's very funny. It's like these kids like fucking around with each other. It's almost like you're talking about the first one was like Jackass. This is like kids being jackass with each other.
Yeah, yeah.
Like they're like popping out of the water and squirting each other with water guns. Like
yeah, see, this is a short where I still didn't hate it. I think now watching it back again would appreciate more. Because at first I'm sitting there thinking of like, because people try to put together really pretty good serious horror stuff in the first one.
Yeah.
And so when I'm watching the second one, I'm just like, what is some like pretentious ass like, what if we filmed a horror thing with a dog? So to me, I'm just like,
yeah,
well, fuck you. But if I do it and try to be funny, it's like, okay,
exactly,
that's
yeah.
funny.
I think the second one is meant to be way funnier, and like, yeah, you get like perspective stuff from a dog. A lot of it is from the perspective of a dog.
It's like we've done POV with humans.
Yeah.
What if we did a dog?
Yeah, and like, what if aliens abducted people
Yeah.
during a shitty teenage slumber party, and it's from the perspective of a dog?
Yeah,
like it's really funny. But I do think the aliens are well done and scary. Like the makeup for them is great.
I don't know if I call them scary, but they're well done.
Man, they look horrifying, man.
No way, man.
Yeah, are you kidding? But I really like how the first one I had a little bit of a problem with. When they did jump scares, they would actually add in music.
Yeah.
Which doesn't make sense for a found footage film. Why would there be music added? In this one, they do jump scares, but I think they did it better because, like in this one is a great example. When they do have like loud, piercing noises for the jump scare, in this one, the premise is like that's the alien ship. Yeah. That's like the sound of it. So it sort of explains it within its own universe. And that's why I like VHS 2, is I feel like, despite being more funny, there's a lot of more clever things with how some of it's filmed. It's not as much like, wait, why are they filming this? Like, and again, we talked about like the glasses thing and like the nanny cam thing in the first one. Some of that is clever, but then you get to like that woods one where it's like, why are they filming any of this? It doesn't make any fucking sense. And the Skype one, I think, is a little bit wonky too. Like, this girl just keeps waking up and calling this guy on Skype. Yeah. I don't know. This one, I think, has a few more clever kind of creative uses for some of that. But yeah, I like how...
I think of one where it just seems like they really homed it in. I think like all the excuses are pretty good.
But yeah, I think that like the way they even did the audio, like again with the jump scare sounds for that fourth one, like I think is a little more clever in the second one. It doesn't seem like, oh, they added this in post to make it more scary. Mm-hmm. It seems like, oh, they actually explained it within the universe. Yep. So I feel like there's a few faults in the first one that they actually managed to follow up better in the second.
One other comment on the last one. Who watches porn and jerks off when the other friends are right next to him in the room? That's fucking weird.
Oh man, I've known people that have done that.
That's so weird. Don't do that.
I've definitely been to like people's houses before, like especially like early in high school, like freshman year, where people would like definitely do that.
Like it's one thing like if your other friends are watching porn with you, but it almost seems like they all went to sleep and he's like, I'm gonna go turn on this porn. Mm-hmm. He has the volume on, he's jerking off.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about playing Russian roulette, man.
And then he's just crazy surprised when somebody else finds out.
Yeah.
It's like, what did you think was going to happen?
Exactly.
But that one does end sad because the dog dies. Mm-hmm. So that's sad. But yeah, I don't know. And then the final, and another thing like that just proves like this movie's funny. We get this final sequence where like we're back in the house and this guy's like girlfriend like snaps back to life and he shoots her, and then he turns and sees the other kid in the closet who is like shot his lower face off. The kid kills him, picks up the camera, and gives a thumbs up to it.
Yeah. See, another thing, if I like know this is supposed to be funny, I guess I don't know why I just missed out. Maybe I was just watching on mindset because I was also trying to go to bed early that night.
True, yeah.
Where I just did that and I was just like, what the
fuck? Yeah, to me that's just like the final, and that's why I think that because you said the music didn't work as well. I think the music just proves it again. Like this is just meant to be fun and like funny, and you're meant to like laugh and have a good time while I watch this. Are you going to be a little bit scared? Sure. Are you going to be terrified? Probably not. But it's going to be fun and funny, and like there's still going to be some good moments along the way. Yeah, but it's just interesting to me how shit on these movies are, because I think they're such a cool...
Yeah, because even I didn't like the second one as much as the first one, but I still think it's much better than people give it credit for.
Yeah, and I just think that
shot.
These movies are such a cool way for like different directors, whether they're independent directors or better known directors, to come together in collaboration and create their own different things. Sorry, we got cut off again. I was going to say, it sucks the third one so bad because I feel like this franchise is almost starting to dry up, whereas I feel like this is a franchise that could just keep going.
Yeah.
Like, imagine if they just keep getting more and more directors. Maybe some brand new people. Maybe there's some other even better known
Right, because it's not even going to be one of the
directors.
things was like, oh, great, Saw 7. Because sure, VHS 7, but it's not the same shit every single time.
Exactly. You're going to get a totally different story. I'm fine with the fact that it doesn't connect.
It's something that deserves to have 7 volumes.
Exactly. Yeah, I feel like each time you're going to get such a different thing. And maybe you get to the point where, yeah, the directors are kind of doing the same kind of things over and over. But there's still so many different horror things that they haven't explored.
Right.
And so many different settings you could explore.
Because there's going to be a good period of time where people don't want to do the same thing, and someone's already done a bit with the handycam or like the POV.
Yeah.
So they're going to start getting really clever with how to do it. Which
Exactly.
means you're probably going to get some really good stuff.
Yeah, I just feel like, and especially because you don't have to draw things out and do a 2-hour movie, it gets people more creativity to like do something unique and different. Like maybe, like, you know, you have just a quick idea about, oh, what if there's something scary that happens like in a bathroom? That could be a short.
Mm-hmm.
You could never do that in a full movie, but it gives you the creative thing to like, you just have like one little idea for a few little bits, you can throw that in this movie. Like, it sucks because like, honestly, like as a big horror fan, I would love to do something for a VHS movie someday. Like, I think the concept is cool. I would love to see more stuff like this happen. I think it's such a unique thing, and it's just too bad that kind of that third one sucked. I didn't actually see the third one, but I heard really bad things.
From actual people who like the other ones? Or from
Yeah. And I've also heard that like the scariest part in VHS Viral is a part where the kids in the movie rewatch part of the first movie, and it's the girl from the first one, like with the cracked face or whatever.
Yeah.
That the scariest part is when they show you that scary girl from the first one. It's like, really? Like, you couldn't even come up with a new scary thing? The scariest thing you can do is show something scary from an old one? That's fucking stupid. But yeah, I hear it's like real lame. But I mean, it tried to do like viral videos, which in a way I give it credit because like the idea of old ass VHS tapes probably doesn't appeal to a lot of teenagers nowadays. That's not as scary to them. To me, older technology, there's something creepy about that.
Right.
I like the concept that in 2015 somehow this guy got a futuristic eye and somebody put it on VHS tape.
Yeah.
Like, there's something about that.
I knew there's something. I knew that what we talked about before, but there's something really hooky about that.
Yeah.
And that was it. I totally forgot.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of GoPro footage got into this.
Well, they did explain that didn't the KGB give him that eye?
I don't know who they said gave it.
I thought they said KGB was like, I don't got technology in Russia.
But yeah, I feel like changing it to viral could have worked if done right, because that is more appealing to kids. I understand you got to make money. You want to get those kids in the seat. The idea of scary viral videos even sounds cool to me, because like I'll occasionally go and watch like these were supposedly like scary YouTube videos.
I mean, I've seen PewDiePie ones. That's horrifying.
So I think there's potential there. It just sucks that it sounds like it went so fucking wrong. One cool thing I want to say real quick, and most people probably know this, but just in case you didn't, and you're a fan of these movies, after I watched these, I remember thinking like, man, it's too bad these movies were made in the 2010s, because it would be really cool to own VHS copies of this. Went up and looked it up. They did make VHS copies of both movies. You can buy them on VHS. I think that's so fucking rad. Like, other than Disney's Frozen, nobody makes VHS movies anymore, like since like the 90s, maybe early 2000s. And I think it's so cool that like these people were like, hey, we can't make a movie series about evil VHS tapes and not have it come out on VHS. So kudos to them. Like, that's one of the things that I like about the first two, is I feel like they really had this cool concept and they really went for it.
Did people ever actually do like? Because sometimes you get it with like CDs or DVDs. Cool stylized VHSs. Like if you got the one for The Ring, like the VHS looks like the Ring cassette.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe with The Ring I could see that possibly, because there was a lot of cool things they did with the production of that. So maybe I remember like as a kid, I can't remember what they were. I remember having like a couple like different colored VHS. I remember having, like, white VHS. But in terms of like
all the Nickelodeon ones are typically orange.
Right, yeah. But I don't remember ever having one that had like a weird design on it or something. Maybe the VHS ones do. I don't
That'd
know.
be cool. Yeah,
that would be really cool. Like when you said CD, the first thing I thought of was when System of a Down had one come out.
Exactly what I was thinking. That's why I added CD.
So yeah, there's that. Anyways, let us know, guys. Did you ever have any weird VHSs as a kid? Yeah, and so I'm curious because if you are watching this, VHS movies are very divisive. People kind of really loved them, or people just fucking hated them.
Mm-hmm.
So what did y'all think of VHS 1 and 2? Did you think it was like hokey and like didn't make sense, or did you enjoy it for what it was? And even VHS 1 versus VHS 2, who do you side with?
We should reboot it and call it DVD.
Hell yeah, man.
But
see, that's even again like talking about like there's something scary about old technology.
Yeah.
A movie called DVD doesn't sound scary.
No.
There's something about VHS, like you're like, there's a horror movie called VHS. Cool, I'll check that out. There's a horror movie called DVD. Fuck off. That sounds
It sounds like
shit.
the scary movie version of VHS.
Yeah, if we ever did a parody of VHS, we could call it DVD. That's actually a great idea. I kind of want to do that now. Anyway, speaking of us doing scary stuff, coming soon after we're doing our 13 Days of Halloween special. We're finishing that up with Friday the 13th tomorrow and Cabin in the Woods the day after. The day after that, we are premiering our own original spooky video. Mm-hmm. See if you can spot all the influence from the movies we've been watching in there, because I bet there'll be a little bit at least.
Maybe.
So look forward to that. Hopefully it'll be out on time, on schedule.
TBA,
but probably October 31st. If not, we kind of fucked up a Halloween video by having it come out in November.
Yeah.
But,
that's what's spooky about it. We weren't expecting it.
That's true. You thought the scares were over, but they're just getting started.
Yep.
We're just really early for Halloween next year. Just a little Halloween come early. So, again, follow us on Twitter for all our updates, twitter.com/thewetrats. And we'll see you guys tomorrow with Friday the 13th. And thanks for being a watcher. Bye-bye.
Go to Walmart.
Yeah.